It's likely that Paul spent the last few months of his life here in the Carcer Tullianum, otherwise known later in history as the Mamertine prison. According to this plaque, both Peter and Paul spent time in this prison chained to the wall with a pillar next to them, which is in the museum above. This was the lower of the two prisons, perhaps an ancient cistern, as you can tell by these stones around us. This was a place known by one Roman writer as enclosed walls, neglect, darkness, and stench. Even today, with the lights out, you realize that this is a place of pitch darkness. If you add to it the smell and the sense of enclosure, you realize that Paul was at a very different point in his life than he was during his house arrest. For 2 years, between 61 and 63 AD, Paul was waiting to go before the emperor with hope of being exonerated, and he was. Paul wrote prison epistles with a sense of optimism about his future ministry, which he was able to do. But when you read 2 Timothy, you realize that Paul is in a different place. Paul describes his first imprisonment, and he says, although he was deserted, he said, I was delivered from the lion's mouth. And he says something that gives you a key to Paul's state of mind at this point. The Lord will rescue me from every evil attack and will bring me safely to his heavenly kingdom. Both Paul and Peter were executed during the reign of Nero. Things would change politically for Christians off and on, but these two seemingly gave up their lives during a time of insanity in the Roman Empire. Peter and Paul both gave up their lives during the reign of Nero. According to tradition, Peter asked to be crucified upside down when he was sentenced to crucifixion. Paul, as a Roman citizen, was given the ironic privilege of being beheaded rather than crucified. Both of them became martyrs here in the life of the early church during a time of insanity in the Roman Empire. But this was part of the plan and part of what they understood to be their destiny. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a twist of fate. This was their destiny to enter, as Paul says, the heavenly kingdom through their own deaths.